Have you ever tried to read the Bible and just felt like you were trying to piece together a massive, complicated puzzle? Well, today we're going to look at a really unique attempt to put all those pieces together. We're exploring a historical park called Discover the Bible, which basically tells the entire 6,000-year story in a single 90-minute walk. Sounds kind of wild, right? Let's dive in and see how they pull it off.
So, right from the get-go, the entire tour is built on this one powerful idea. It's the lens for every single story, from Genesis all the way to Revelation. The goal isn't just to list off a bunch of events. Nope, it's to demonstrate a bigger principle, that love is greater than hate, forgiveness is better than resentment, and that life is just more beautiful than death. Keep this theme in the back of your mind as we go.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Where does the park begin its story? You'd think with Adam and Eve, right? But no. It starts before that, in the spiritual realm, before humanity was even in the picture. This sets the stage for a massive cosmic drama that pretty much frames everything else. And that leads us to the big one, doesn't it? It's the question that has puzzled people for, well, forever. What this tour does is it doesn't shy away from it. It tackles it head-on. In fact, it makes this question central to the whole plot. And the answer it gives is the foundation for the entire story we're about to walk through.
So how do they answer that huge question? Well, they propose that evil isn't some cosmic accident. The narrative introduces two, let's call them spiritual families. You've got beings of light, totally loyal to the Creator, and then you have beings of darkness, an open rebellion, led by the adversary Satan. But here's the twist. According to this view, that second group was intentionally created as a, well, they call it a pedagogical instrument, a teaching tool. Their whole purpose is to exist to eternally prove that good is superior to evil. So in this story, the conflict isn't a mistake, it's actually part of the plan.
Okay, so that cosmic stage is set. We have this built-in conflict, and now humanity enters the picture. The story goes that we were created to reflect the Creator's image, but we got dropped right into the middle of this spiritual battle. And, well, our first steps were, let's just say, a little bit shaky.
The tour highlights this really clear pattern of failure. First up, Eden. Adam and Eve choose independence, right? Then things escalate. Big time. By the time of the flood, the rebellion had gotten so bad, so corrupt, that a total reset was needed. Only Noah's family of 8 was saved. And finally, you get to the Tower of Babel, where it wasn't just individual rebellion anymore. This was organized rebellion. Humanity was actively trying to get power from the dark side. Each failure was bigger than the last, showing that on our own, we were just trapped in this downward spiral.
So after that huge organized rebellion at Babel, the plan shifts. Instead of a global approach, the Creator zooms in and focuses on just one man, Abraham. His family, which would become the nation of Israel, was chosen for a very specific mission, to be a beacon of light, the vehicle through which all the other nations could eventually find their way back. So for thousands of years, this plan unfolds through Israel's history, but that same old cycle of failure just kept going. So the story finally reaches its absolute pivotal moment with the arrival of a figure named Yeshua, or, as you probably know him, Jesus. He's presented as the one who will finally succeed where Adam, Noah, and the entire nation of Israel had failed. The tour presents his mission through 5 really key symbolic acts, and each one is like a direct answer to humanity's past failures. At the wedding at Cana, he restores joy. With the Samaritan woman, he heals division. He calls himself the Good Shepherd, looking for the lost. By choosing a humble home, he shows that the way up is down. And then, in the synagogue, he announces a jubilee, a complete cancellation of all of humanity's spiritual debts, basically hitting the reset button on the whole system. And this brings us to the climax of the entire 6,000-year epic. According to the park's narrative, the crucifixion isn't some tragic defeat. No, it's the calculated, necessary, final move in this cosmic battle between good and evil. It's the checkmate. And right here, we see that central theme from the very beginning come to its ultimate conclusion. The cross is presented as the final, absolute demonstration that humility overcomes pride, love conquers hate, and life triumphs over death. It fulfills the entire purpose of that cosmic plan set up at the beginning.
So how does this actually work, according to the tour? Well, it's explained as an act of cosmic justice. The just, Yeshua, suffers for the unjust, that's us, humanity. And this sacrifice is presented as the key that unlocks the path back to the Creator. It's also seen as the fulfillment of that very first prophecy, way back in Genesis, where a descendant of Eve would crush the serpent's head even while getting wounded himself.
So, with the climax reached and the conflict resolved, the story moves to its conclusion. But you know,
It's not really an ending. It's more of an invitation. That path back to the paradise that was lost at the very beginning, it's now open.
To understand this new beginning, the tour focuses on a single number. And it might seem a little random at first, but in this narrative, it is packed with meaning. And that number is 8.
So why 8? Well, think about it. 7 is the number of the original creation week. It's the number of completion in this world. So 8, coming right after 7, symbolizes a totally new start, an entry into eternity, the very thing made possible by the cross. You see it in other places, too. There were 8 people saved on Noah's Ark to start humanity over. The tour's lake and gardens are even shaped like the number 8 to symbolize this promise of a new creation and resurrection.
And so the whole epic story comes full circle. It starts in a garden, and it ends with an invitation back into one. The empty tomb is the ultimate proof that the mission was a success, that death has been defeated. And in this really amazing reversal, death itself, the original consequence of rebellion, is reframed as the very instrument of liberation that allows a return to paradise.
And that's where the tour leaves you, with this final powerful question. After tracing this incredible arc from cosmic conflict to human rebellion to ultimate redemption, it turns the question back to you. The path is open, so what does it actually mean to return to the garden?